Thank you, everybody, for showing up and supporting me. And I like to just start off with just saying thank you to God, to the universe, to whatever your deity may be. Thank us for waking us up today. We take a lot for granted. Thank us for waking us up with an able body and an able mind. And thank you be thankful for the gift of each day, because none of it is guaranteed us. And prior to me having the stroke, I was a sleepwalker. I was literally walking, I had, my son was murdered, and I had lost my desire to live. I wasn't going to kill myself now. I wasn't like that, but it was just something about having someone just snatched out of your life. Good afternoon, ladies. Come on in, take a seat. It's just something about having a loved one just snatched away from you that kills inside of you. And I was walking aimlessly through life, and one morning I got on an airplane. I was an enrollment counselor for colleges. I flew every weekend. During the week I was a photographer. I was working my way up through the ranks, so I would make my money on the weekend and then do photography in the week, so I was putting in a lot of time. And one morning I get on the plane on my regular weekly schedule, and as soon as the plane takes off, I feel like there's something sucking everything out of my left hand. It was a weird feeling. I can't even explain it to you because it's not natural. But it felt like the life force was leaving my body. And I said to myself, should I call the airline stewardess? And this voice spoke to me and said, you're closer to God, call on him. And I'm glad I listened. I flew every week, and I never could sleep on a plane. I always brought a book to read or a CD to watch. But after when I said my prayer, as Bernie Mac would say, immediately, God put me to sleep. And I slept through the whole flight, a 5-hour flight from here to Dallas, Texas. And I woke up, and I still felt strange, but I didn't feel horribly strange. I felt like I knew something had gone wrong. Because I couldn't I went to pull out my luggage at the overhead compartment, and I couldn't pull it down. So I knew for sure something had happened to me, but I was headed to Birmingham, Alabama. I had to make a connection. And when we were connecting, I met up with one of my employees, and I told him, when we get to our final destination, I'm going to the hospital. I might have had a stroke or something, because you don't know what a stroke feels like. But I told him, I said, I'm going to go to the hospital to check myself in. And as soon as I say that, a gentleman sitting behind me taps me on my shoulder, and he says, you can't get on this plane. And I'm saying to myself in my head, who the hell are you? And it was a white boy, Caucasian guy. He said, you can't get on that plane. I was like, looked at him, and he said, I don't mean to be in your business. He said, but I'm a doctor. He said, if you get on that plane, you can have another stroke. He said, because there's little oxygen and the air pressure, you'll probably die. He said, but even if you make it to Montgomery, Alabama, right, I guarantee you will die in the hospital. They're that bad. And I'm like sitting in, disbelief about, I just had a stroke, and now I've got this stranger telling me, and I'm just sitting there. I'm not really making any move, just trying to take this in. And because he's a doctor, he calls 911. Thank God for cell phones. He dials 911 and sends me to the top stroke center in Dallas. Now, if that was not God working for me.
Yes, it was.
If that was, I don't know what more proof you need. And when I finally arrived at the hospital via ambulance, there was an array of doctors, a plethora, who just gathered around my bed. And they were looking at me like I was a monkey in a cage. Everybody was looking at me, and they started asking me, what did you do to survive? Nobody survived a 5-hour flight. And especially come out as considering how well I came through it. And I told them I prayed, and they like, now what did you really do? And I said, y'all, ye a little faith. I didn't have any word from them after that, but I realized then I was going to use the highest wireless connection, and that was prayer. Throughout my life, I was never going to let go of it. My father that was one thing he always told us, pray on everything. Make your life an art of prayer. And believe me, after that incident, I pray on everything. I don't leave God out of nothing, because he animates this universe. He allows that sun to come up every morning. The planets move in perfect order. The stars come out. It was man that destroyed everything. And so it was a life-changing. That's why I wrote this book called Awoke by a Stroke, because a lot of us are sleepwalking. A lot of us are. We've got to change our consciousness. That's where to start with. And a lot of it's how we've all been programmed. We've been programmed to think we're less than what we are. That we don't understand how marvelous we are and how marvelous this body is. I mean, the doctors told me I would never see again. I lost my vision after I got out of the hospital when I flew back to LA. By the time I got to LA, I couldn't see, everything with shadows. And you guys are gonna laugh. I'm not gonna tell you this because I want you to read the book, but I had when I got off the plane 2 days later, I had a job at Paramount. I was wondering, what should I do? I'm gonna let you read the book and see what I did. But you know, this journey, it's been a journey, and it just made me realize that there are no accidents in the universe, and that God is always there for us. Sometimes it can be at the end of the road. We don't know where we're going, but I always would take that time and just say, God, guide me, because I don't know where I'm at. And I had a really mystical, I had two of them. Experiences recently. One was, I was writing the book, and that one's in the book, but this one's not. I was writing the book, I was finished, and I was going to publish. And it's funny because I thought I was going to finish a little earlier, and then I said, this voice said to me, don't rush the universe. Just go with the flow. So I did. And a few days later, we were working on the book, and the publisher was finished. She was going to printing, but they were sending me my proof first to read the book. And one night on, I think it was the 19th of April, I wake up at around 2 o'clock in the morning, and this voice says to me, put John Singleton on the back of your book. And I'm saying to myself, why? I photographed him a lot, I worked with him a lot. But John didn't have nothing to do with the stroke. But you know what? Because I've been so programmed to pray and to listen to that voice that speaks to us, I listened, and I called the publisher up. I said, change the picture in the back and put me and John Singleton. I had no idea. The very next day, I called him to make sure he had changed it because it was going to the publisher. And he said, Donna, you heard John had a stroke. Wow. So then, I said, wow, I went on Facebook and I told everybody, please say your prayers for John. You know, he can move through this if it's God's will for him. And I get my book because it's gone. We went over to the printer and they sent me my first proof. The proof of my book arrives on the day John dies. So, because I kept asking God, am I on the right track? Am I on the right track? This guy didn't direct me. And then I had a really profound, just the other day, that I just like, God, you don't need to speak any louder. It's clear coming to me. You know, Luke Perry had a stroke. Right. And I said, wow, I never photographed him. Because he had his first and then John had his. And I said, wow, I never photographed Luke. And the other night I asked God, I said, you know, just show me if I'm doing the right thing. I always ask him, just guide me, because I might, you know, my way may not be the right way. Just guide me. Tell me if I'm on the right track. That day, a picture that I had taken of Luke Perry in 2016, I was with Lena, with the Black Public Relations, and with CBS. Pat Tobin, exactly.
Pat Tobin was alive?
No, it was just her friend.
Yeah, she been gone.
Yeah,
but they were honoring.
But they were honoring,
She was doing beepers.
She was wonderful. And all of a sudden, how did that just jump in my feet?
That's
the picture that I took of him, I had forgot I had taken that picture. And I was like, God, I know you talking to me. I mean, I couldn't write this material better than this. You know what I'm saying? How did that just wipe? And I had forgot. In fact, I sent the publisher a note. I was like, I would have mentioned him in my book had I remembered I photographed him. I would have mentioned that because he had a stroke, but I had forgot. I photographed so many people, and sometimes I can't remember if I saw him on TV, and that's what I remember, or did I photograph? You know, because I do so many people that I forget a lot of times, but that just was like a thank you, God. You sent me a sign I'm on the right track, and I feel like this. I've got my mission right now is to save lives one stroke at a time, one photo at a time. So I'm embarking on a photographic campaign called Stay Strokeable. And that's why I've asked people to take, you know, a photo with the book just to bring out the message visually, how important. Right now, in fact, a friend of mine who's Mary Nicholson, she was a stroke survivor, and she has an organization called Healing's Emotion. She sent me this information, and I'm going to read it to you just so I don't miss anything. But it says there are 7.2 million people living in the United States who have survived or are recovering from a stroke today. 7.2 million. And that is more than the population of LA and Chicago combined. So we need to stay strokeable. You know, if it's just simple things like making sure that your children understand their blood pressure reading, or everybody in their family, that you have a blood pressure reader, you know, tool in your home so that you can monitor yourself, especially for Black African Americans, because we're 40% of us, men and women, are having strokes. They're coming at an earlier age and they're coming more severe. The food and our lack of, in our diet and our lack of exercise. And I was just at an event for some young people the other day, and it was African Americans, and I looked and everybody in the crowd was just, I mean, these were young.
Obese.
It's the hormones.
Everybody, yes. What they're putting in our food too, you know, and then not eating the proper food. So it behooves us all to stay stroke well, because we're losing our population is dwindling just on the strokes alone. I want to take this time, one, to explain to you my relationship with Askia Mwakil. And he's been a blessing in my life. And this is his beautiful home, everybody. And you can see he's an artist. But after I lost my vision, it's funny because my family told me, my father had lost his vision due to glaucoma. And I had gone to Braille Institute and learned Braille. And I used it in my art. I'm a visual artist too. So when I lost my vision, my family said, well, it's a good thing you know Braille. And I said, Braille was not for me, that was for my daddy. I learned that to help my father. And I never believed that I would not see again. I don't know, there's something inside of me that said, you will see again. And no matter what the doctors told me, I stayed with that. I'm going to see again. My daughter went on Facebook and she put a post and she said, my mother has lost her vision due to a stroke that she experienced. Does anybody know a natural healer? The doctors gave me their diagnosis with me. And a friend of mine, Johan Beckles, her husband is the artist, Joseph Beckles, the sculptor. She came on and said, Donna, I had written an article about them for the Sentinel when I was writing for the Sentinel. And she came and said, I know a guy who can heal you. And so it's funny because I was talking to another friend of mine who I used to work with that same day, and she said, I know Askia Beverly, who worked with me at One Day Paint. She said, I know him, he can heal you. So I felt good. I was like, okay. I came to him. I don't know how I made it up, because somebody drove me at the bottom, but I don't know how I made it up those stairs. I couldn't see, but I was determined. And when I met Askia, he was real professional, and he was explaining to me everything that I was going to put in my body. And I was like, come on, just let me drink the tea. I just want, you know, when you lose your vision, I had a guy say to me, well, how long were you blind? I said, one day is too long.
That's true. Anything can happen with that.
One day is too long. Lose your vision and see. One day is too long. And Askia was just so kind to me, and I couldn't see well, but I had this aura about his house. I felt like I was in this really good energy when I came in. I couldn't see. Everything was real shadowy, and it was in black and white, and I couldn't really see, but I felt this energy from him. I never even told him that, but it was just this positive energy he gave me. What was that stuff that people, when they drank he gave me this magic juice.
Elixir?
Yeah, like elixir. That's what the word I wanted to say. Elixir. He gave me this elixir of herbs, and my vision started coming back. And man, he's just been a resource. And Askia, I want you to he's a holistic practitioner. Would you take time out to introduce yourself?
Tell everybody. Thanks for everybody coming to my home. Let me give you, bro, we can share things. I'm Askia Mwakil. I've been a holistic practitioner for 38 years. I'm 5th generation. My great uncle was Booker T. Washington, herbalist MD. My great grandmother was from Ghana and taught my grandfather, my great uncle, holistic medicine, and he went to McHarry University and he became George Washington Carver's and Booker T. Washington, herbalist MD. So, you know, and when I tell people about health and how I function with health, I always tell people, I always remember something very important in your life when things affect you. 6 billion sperm said that for one egg, you're the only one made it. We're all a very exceptional deity to be in this planet alone. And I'm going to say, you know, and one thing that, especially African American, 150 years ago, we were the most physically fit people on the planet. 150 years later, we the sickest. If slavery took place right now, they wouldn't steal us. We in that bad shape. Because we put everything before we put ourselves. And it's a lot of what I find with sickness doesn't come from your physical body. Sickness comes from your thinking. Learn how to think correctly. Old African proverb said, before we became physical, we were at the light level, but one day we looked down at our reflection and we gave a reality for the illusion. We get so caught up in the illusion of life. And then you get this deity inside of you called your ego. Now, a lot of times the ego is like living in a house with no mirrors. You see everything but yourself. And a lot of times it comes from you. You know? I had a lady one time, she said, "You're a doctor, why don't you buy you a new car?" Because I said, I used to watch cowboy movies. She said, "What cowboy movies got to do with you with a new car?" I said, "They didn't have new and used horses." It's transportation. But you have to look at your life in a different way. You have to look at things that are good or bad in your life. Always remember, what's meant to hit you will not miss you. What's meant to miss you can never hit you. Life is always in order. It's just that you are the order.
Wow.
And when you can deal with your disorder, see, the mirror only shows you what you want to see. But there's another side of the mirror, it's your behind. And people have seen your behind time. But you still don't want to admit it's there. It's okay to be wrong. Some people would rather be right than be loved.
That's right.
Some people would, and then the other side of it, a lot of times people would divorce their sanity to marry someone else's insanity.
Wow.
That's why I'm alone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, have you noticed or any studies that show that more women, African American women, are having strokes from stress than the men? I know that the women kind of are the savages right now. Like most of us are carrying the load. You know, whether it's work, taking care of our kids, pursuing our career, single mom, whatever we're doing. You know, it requires so much of us, and there's so much stress trying to be easy in such a hard world. You know, changing roles. Like at work, you know, I'm the boss. At home, I'm the boss. So how do you know you can't?
It's a combination of all. See, it's on all of us. America is not a. First of all, you don't live in a country. You live in a corporation. This ain't no country. This is a corporation. It's all about money. 35% of my business, my practice is MDs. They come and sit on the chair and talk to me about their health. They won't take the medication. You see, they understand it's a corporation. It's a business.
Yeah.
Like I said, doctor told a man he had 6 months to live, and the man said, "Doc, I can't pay you in 6 months." Doctor said, "Hell, I give you another 6 months." Just pay me. And that's really what it is that, see, black women not only were stressed with black men, we're very stressed out people, but black women right now in the last 10 years have had the highest level of lupus. The DLE and the SLE, butterfly rash, everything. Because you internalize too much. You gotta let it go. You be mad at your brother and sister because they took a cookie when you ate, and you 58 and still mad. Why the hell are you so mad? let it go. There ain't nothing to be mad at. Ain't nobody made you mad. You got mad because you mad. That's what we have to realize. All these things of sickness. You ever known a healthy hypochondriac? No, because they always think they sick. So they said, your wish is your command. How you want to look at this? You remember when we was kids, everybody watched Wizard of Oz? What did she do? Dorothy went down the yellow brick road. She met 3 characters. She needed a brain, the Tin Man. She needed the Scarecrow. The Tin Man needed a heart, and she needed some courage. Right. And all those things came together to help her go see the wizard. Fighting over all obstacles, she met up with the wizard. Now she wanted the wizard to send her home. And the wizard said, "I can't send you home. Click your heels. You could have went home anytime you wanted to." Then all the power comes from you.
Wow.
You see, born again is the day that you find what you here for. When you find you, then you born again. Now some people say, "Well, the Bible." Well, I didn't say nothing about the Bible. Ain't the only book written either. That lady told me, she said, I got to go to Bible study. I said, when you going to graduate? Let me go for 25 years.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Man, that part, right?
Keep it 100.
Just keep it, I mean, just be honest. You know, the lady told me one time, she said, we have a good spiritual conversation. And she said, what church you go? I said, I didn't say go to church. She said, well, the only way through the Father, through the Son, through Dymally 14. I said, Harry Potter is a wizard in chapter 1 and chapter 12. Shit. I ain't got time to argue. But it's like this with people. And this is where you have to be in your life with people. Whatever makes you happy is your perception of reality. If praise the Lord, thank you, Jesus, stop you from breaking in my house, praise the Lord, thank you, Jesus. If Allahu Akbar stop you from robbing me, Allahu Akbar. Abani Ghani Shalom, whatever medication you need to keep you sane, take your medication. But stop trying to give me your medication, you're a dope dealer.
Right.
That's for you. It don't work for me. And this is what and once you're able to think in a positive way of looking at life, then your body submits to what you wanted it to do. It's all based on how you feel about you. When your ego is so much in the way of you, and you say that's you, that ain't you, that's your ego. Most of your personality is your childhood upbringing. Let go of your craziness that happened when you was a child. And blaming your mother and your father because they were beat up just the same way that you were beaten up by them from their grandparents. So you ain't got time to blame nobody for nothing.
Women internalize and men escape from that.
What do you mean?
Like you said, women, we internalize a lot of the emotions of the past, the childhood. And it seems like men that are broken, they just repeat it or escape from the accountability of their action today.
Well, I think in terms of this, when we start using terms, respect for men, black women.
Yeah.
First of all, we were both on the same plantation at the same time. There ain't nothing that we bringing to you that you ain't bringing to us. So to be saying, well, a man cheat on you, hell, but he always cheat with another sister. So let's be real. Let's understand, we both have issues with each other.
Yeah.
See, the problem is, I tell people with young ones about dating. See, we'll teach our kid to get an education, or won't teach them. We'll let them teach them no education, and let them work for a white man in prison, or we get a PhD and let them work for a white man in corporate America. It don't help us at all. You see, we both have to understand the basic thing in relationships with men and women. We were never taught, your mother, your grandmother, your auntie never came in and said, this is what a man is looking for in a relationship. You winging this all on your own. We're doing the same thing. We're winging it all on ain't nobody, this conversation. See, people are praying in the living room, Jesus help me, and pray in the kitchen, and Jesus help me, and in the den, Jesus help me. Won't mention Jesus' name in the bedroom at all. You see, turn the lights out because I don't want Jesus to see me doing this.
You need to quit.
What I mean by that, there's a lot. See, it's basic.
But it's so true.
It's so much basic stuff we don't know. See, we don't really know how to choose a mate. That's one of the primary things. Dating, I'm telling you, give an example. I give it to older people and younger people. Dating means data. That's what you're looking for. You need data. You can't go out and give up. Dating is like a job. On a job, you fill out an application, what previous work you did, previous experience, what you plan to do on your new job. You got your application, you want to know where your mama from, how he was raised, why he break up that last sister, what he plan to do with you. As a job application, you put them on probation, you do a background check and make them take a blood test, and then you send them through orientation and training and let them give them a benefit package. If you meet somebody give up the benefits with no probation, no application, no orientation, you go to the unskilled worker and you have to help one side.
Talk about it.
You give up all your benefits in a month's time, he ain't proving nothing to you. She ain't proved nothing to you. We have to start being honest. So when we say this, and one thing that the slave master, he taught us not to get along on that plantation. I'm 62 years old. I'm third generation out of slavery. Most of y'all are third or fourth generation. It ain't been that long ago. It ain't time for us to be separated from each other in this love thing that we have to go. We both bring bull. Are you going to have a dysfunctional brother, but you can't be dysfunctional? Come on. Sometimes we think it's gold. We think our sexual things go because we don't know how to spell. Take the G off of it.
I'm not mad at you. You know, I'm not mad at you right now. This is therapy, buddy.
It's just see, and I work with people because I want to be honest. These are things we ain't got time to be blaming and whatever else. We got the same enemy from day one. He's our enemy, and no matter how he trained you or trained me, it's two different things. Black women will raise their daughters and love their sons.
Yes. Oh shit.
It is completely a different way of how we deal with each other. You teach your daughter to be sassy, independent, but you're going to love him till he's 45 years old in a house living with you.
No.
You see, your kid 45 years old, you don't want to say they 45, you want to say they 735 months.
No. Stop. Too late.
It's really just understanding that. Now, once you get all this brain together here, this body could just be put in the thing. I mean, 68% of black women overweight, 66% of brothers overweight. The average grandparent in our community now is 38 years of age. Big Mama 38, Medea 51. Girls are having 4 kids by 4 different men, hate all the daddies. All the kids look like their daddies. We got some crazy issues we dealing with here.
But let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
I always feel like we as people of color always set our standards to white people, like the body mass index, the numbers for diabetes, everything is set by the standard of white people.
You're absolutely
Why we ain't setting the standard?
Well, because we're not going into social science. You're absolutely right. Because a lot of times our goal is not to be African. Our goal is to be black Anglo-Saxons. We want to be black white people. We look at everything that they do, and you're right. All these numbers are set on European anatomy.
Absolutely.
It's like if we were in China and they have a different anatomy, and they saying, well, you're not smart, short. Something must be wrong with you. You're too tall. That's a deficiency.
Okay.
I mean, you're using someone else. We gotta understand us. It's like with us being on time. You know, time is different to us. Simple, real simple. I have a party, Kwanzaa party. Everybody invited. I have a big Kwanzaa party, and I always start at 7. I mean, at 6 o'clock. They gonna get here at 8:30.
Every day.
I'm so glad they go Black Airline because the plane will take off at 7. The pilot will show up at 7:45. The plane takes off at 8:15.
They have a range.
Yeah, but see, it's not that it's bad. It's
They take off at 7-ish.
All they gonna say, all thing like the logo gonna, we'll get you there soon.
Yeah, we'll get there.
It gets
Right.
Yeah, but see, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that we view time differently. If I'm watching TV, I'm watching some clothes. When the clothes is done and I put them away, I come to your house. Now you want me to be there at 7, but I deal with events, and then I go to the next event. That's how we proceed. That's why in Africa or in the Caribbean they say, "See you soon." Soon come, soon come, soon come. They know they ain't coming at no 7 o'clock. They don't let that little watch who mess with them. We are just different, and it's okay to be different. But in our relationships, try to find the peace. We'll pass each other now and won't even say hi.
That's right. Not I.
That's something sick about us not saying good morning, hello, how you doing to somebody. And always trying to find, well, you got a little dent on your car, and you tell somebody, I got a little dent on my car, and they say, what? It's gonna cost you all that money? Why in the hell? You know I already feel bad. Why you gonna get you can get it fixed. Right. See, this is what I'm talking about is real simple stuff, and I know we all can relate to it because that's what we do. We go. I hate going to meetings sometimes with doctors, and they sit there and say, I'm Dr. So. We talk about politics, our history. You ain't no damn doctor in this meeting.
Right.
You a medical doctor in this meeting, but we talking about history. It's a whole different thing. We play this role, that position. Learn to speak to anybody. You can learn wisdom from a wise person, and you can learn not to be foolish from a fool. Talk to the wise person, listen to the fool, because if you argue with the fool, the third person in the past don't know who's the fool. So just learn to let it go. When you have this in the mind set up, then your body starts healing itself. See, we eat, like I'm 62 years old, I'm 175, same weight I was when I was 30. Now, if I go down south and see an old auntie, and I could have a pocket full of money, she'll look at me and say, why you so poor? Overweight was a sign of wealth down south. So being overweight, being obese. Because the mirror, see, after a while, people forget about themselves and they look at the mirror and say, the mirror sure picking up a lot of weight. It is us. Once we understand it's us, understanding that the all cannot be the all without you being part of the all. You have the power, have the all. You know, you have the power. See, what stepping Donna's life was power. For whatever reason, the power stepped in. The universe is in order. When you call it to come, but one thing you don't have, you'll change your mind in a minute. It's coming. Ain't saying it's gonna be there in 5 minutes. Right. It's coming. Stop changing your mind. Right. Things you want to do in your life, do them. Start working. Stop being a procrastinator. Yeah. You know, waking up in your room all dirty and want organized day. Clean your damn room. Put your shoes away. Work on that. You shouldn't wake up to disorder and want order at the end of the day. You already said you're a hypocrite now because you said I want order, but I'm disordered. Learn to let things, like I said, holding on to pain, blaming other people, and their perception is a different perception than yours. It's all, I'm an art collector. Perception. This is everybody's perception. See, it's like one day there was a fish and a turtle, and the fish and the turtle went back in the water. And the fish saw him in the water and said, Mr. Turtle, where you been? And the turtle said, I've been on land. And the fish said, stop lying. Ain't no such damn thing as land. He said, there's trees and ocean, desert and flowers and stuff. And the fish said, you a damn lie. Ain't no such thing there. He said, and then the turtle said, it's dry. And the fish said, you a lie. What in the hell is dry? The fish can own, and then what the turtle did, he said, let's talk about something else. Because you can only see it your way. So he's arguing with you about this. There is, but in their perception of that fish, he never seen nothing dry. He never seen a flower. He never seen people. He just couldn't perceive it. So sometimes you're dealing with your friends and you're trying to prove to them that they wrong and that you're right. How could you ever be right and you didn't hurt another person?
Right. I mean, wrong.
Yeah, how can you never be wrong? I mean, it's okay just to let things go. You ain't got to prove who you are, that you smarter. You want to show them with your knowledge that you so bright and everything, but you're hurting them at the same time. We're better people than that. Let it go. Just, okay, you see it a different way? Let it go. Just learn to, even in your relationship, love is not the highest goal in your relationship with somebody else. Peace is. You can be in love and be in pain, but if you're at peace, you're already in love. Work on your peace. And that peace was find whatever you want. Learn to be patient. Stop procrastinating with yourself. See, because if you can't say, I believe in the great universe and everything, the mission of time and God and Jesus and everything else, but I'm still mad. or worry. How are you going to say, I believe in the greater creation, but God, I know you created the universe, time, space, and energy and everything that we know and we don't know. But I got this gas, but I'm going to worry about this one on my own. I don't need you right now.
Don't leave God out of it.
No, don't leave God out of nothing. Just surrender that it's going to work itself out. What's meant to hit you will not miss you. What's meant to miss you will never hit you. It's in order all the time. But we learn the disorder. We say, people come to me and say, I want to get healthy. I do seminars all the time, 500 people. They say, and out of 500 people, I might get 20 people at the most. Because they ain't serious about the health. This stuff sounds good. What I'm talking about right now sounds good. I give everybody my card. Only 2 people on call. Because you're going to go back and going in your same old world, doing your same old thing. And it's not going to change. Because you don't want it to change. How are you going to want something in your life? And I understand another thing. Success is when you find you. It ain't about making no money. This white boy got y'all caught up on this making this money thing. That's success. You know? It's not success. Success is when you are happy with yourself and other people are happy to see you. When Jesus was a homeless man. Muhammad was a sheep herder. Buddha was a prince that gave up his kingdom to run around with the common man. Who told you the success was money? The success is when you The born again is when you find yourself. Just work on you. It's okay. I'ma let it go.
Let it go.
Anybody want to ask me any questions?
You said everything.
Well, y'all help me with my shyness.
What will hit you won't miss you. Can you repeat that for me?
Okay, what's meant to hit you will not miss you. And what's meant to miss you will never hit you. So that means that everything is on time. Like I said, 6 billion sperms headed for 1 egg. We the only one made it. 10 billion planets in the Milky Way galaxy and 2 trillion galaxies in the universe that we know of, and you worried about stuff? You don't even know what you are yet. You ain't got time to be worried about stuff. Just understand that you are blessed. See, you are a part of the all. When the ocean is billions and trillions of drops at one time. Now let me show you the power of the ocean. The ocean, trillions of drops. You go into the ocean and lay down and fall asleep and be so happy. Trillions of drops of water. But one come out of a leaky faucet to drive you crazy. That's the power.
I love it.
That's the power. You have the power inside of you. But you have been taught and bamboozled to believe you had no power. You think this white man got trouble? This economics is it? I gotta put up with this tolerate? I gotta tolerate someone else's madness to make them happy because I didn't get it when I was hugged and I'm gonna deal with this fool for the rest of my life and talking about somebody, disrespecting each other. Sisters are being with men walking down the street and somebody says something about the man and you will try to disrespect him in a very sharp way of just saying, well, you know how men are. Don't bring that shit. If you dealt with Billy Bob over there, don't put me in the same category because you couldn't choose and then gonna say it's all men. No, it's what your choice is. Yeah. How you gonna have 8 bad relationships? See, we be having 8 bad relationships and blame everybody, all 8 of them for that relationship. See, a fly has 8 eyes and still fly around shit all the time. You have to understand that 8 times in a relationship, how unlucky could you be? Don't even talk to me because I'm scared to even touch you.
Right.
My life gonna be that way. Because see, you believe you had 8 relationships, but one thing you forget, you was there.
You were the one.
You weren't there in each particular relationship. And you don't want to take no responsibility for none of that. Been married 7 times and wondering what's going on. Maybe you need to deal with some stuff. But learning how to forgive your mother, your father, your grandparents. See, all turmoil is childhood. 0 to 7, you wake up at 7. 2 times 7, you go through your adolescence. And 3 times 7, you're 21, you're supposed to put it together. But if you haven't dealt with what happened when you were 7, 8, 9, 4, 5 years old, because a lot of times your relatives are like your relatives. Now remember this in your relationship. Relatives are people that are born through the same porthole. That don't mean they're going to be your friend or your family.
Oh, please, yes.
They would, if they weren't your relative, you wouldn't want to know these people. That's the way it is. Friendships that you create with people, they become your family.
That's right.
If sometimes your relatives can become your family, that's really nice. But not all the time it's there. And you can say, look, if you wasn't my brother, my sister, I wouldn't want to know your ass. They're more like neighbors. Neighbors live on the same block, and you wave at them, but they don't never be a part of your life.
Sometimes you're very related to your neighbors.
And dealing with our people, and especially black people or any people, we have different tribes. So learn to have patience with each other. Seems like my cousin got a club. I don't know where to buy red suits with red hat, with red coat, with red derby. I don't even know what store sell that, but that brother from that particular tribe does. And that sister got those spandex pants that won't expand no farther. And those shoes, 2 sizes too small, but she won't because they have rhymes to. Even her big toe is dragging. She might not like me. She likes that brother with that red suit. That's a tribe. You call their house, they got 3 raps on before you leave a message. Quote half the Bible, pay very right, greatest hit. I just want to leave a damn message. That's the tribe. That's what we call the N-word tribe. Then you got the black Anglo-Saxon tribe until you just act like white people and you be okay. How you doing? Let's get down to business. I don't know you like that. Different tribes. I had a brother come do my backslash and a few years ago, and every time I went sideways, it was straight. And when I went straight up, it was crooked. I said, black man, my brother man, my black brother. You ain't straight, black man. That needs to be fixed, black man. I said, that's really wrong. Black man, that ain't right, black man. And I said, man, you got to do that again. He said, well, you got to pay me again. So I said, I ain't speaking the right language to him. So excuse these words right here, and because I'm real with my people. I said, nigga, you better fix my shit. He said, okay, now I'll be there around 1 and 2.
Right.
He'll fix it. That was his tribe.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to speak through a language that he can understand. So when you say our people act like a certain type of way, you might be dealing with another tribal member. It might be your different tribe. So, and teach your kids, if you don't have no crazy grandchildren, to choose the right tribe. So teach them how to choose a mate. Don't sit up there and get a PhD fool as your son-in-law or your daughter-in-law. We go to a funeral. See, we do crazy stuff. We go to a funeral and pray over the food at the repast and say, and let an 18-year-old kid get in front of an 85-year-old person to eat first.
Oh no.
See, we'll go to our the wedding to see our in-laws. Your kid's been dating for 4 years and you ain't met these people yet. You got, and their name because of it, Uncle Festus, and you didn't give a damn, and wonder why you're gonna be babysitting your grandchildren at your age.
Oh my God.
Simple stuff. That's all I'm saying. So I'm gonna turn it over, but I love the way Donna, and what it shows you that woke by stroke is that some of the things that are difficult in life, they become your greatest blessings. Well, she has been the greatest artist that she is now, photographer, without going through that. See, the universe is always on time. It's just on how we view it. We start bringing that negative, egotistical way, that ego, see, like a lot of people just want the ego. It's like me buying a car. I don't buy no, I collect art, but I don't buy no car. I'm driving the same old car I had years ago. See, because I ain't never seen a cowboy. You ever seen a cowboy movie? The guy had 8 pair of shoes on. He only got 2 feet though. 8 pair of shoes, 2 feet. Okay? It's just, what's important? You want something good, go to the thrift store. Go buy something. You ain't got to always spend money on everything. See, every ego is always going to have new. Because see, this is how they get you to buy stuff. They tell you it's new. 6 months, it's old. Go buy it when it's old. Only if it's useful. And get rid of some of those clothes you got in your house. Throw all that stuff away. And stop and put some earplugs, because they're going to tell you they're going to come back in style. They ain't coming back in style. Throw them away. Give them somebody else. They ain't coming back. You don't need all that money.
But they do.
Yeah, I know you're trying to throw away. Don't throw me, throw them away. But these things that are true, and I'm going to stop right now, but see, this is a great book, Woke by Stroke, because it's not only speaking on Donna's struggle, it's on all our struggles. We just have struggles in different ways.
Yep.
And understand when you're going through it, it's okay. I remember 4 things have to happen to you before you get a birthday. And if 3 of them happen, you dead. And that's called summer, spring, winter, and fall. You got to go through 4 seasons to get a birthday. You go through 3, you dead. You got 3 more months to go, but you gone. Learn to go through your seasons, the good things, the bad things. It's only to teach you about you. It's okay to be wrong. Because see, most of the time if you got kids always tell you things. Other people can look at you another way. Your kids will tell you the truth. You ain't all that shit. I live with your ass. You let me get away with all kind of stuff. You crazy as hell. I know you crazy, mama. I know you crazy, daddy. See, we just have to understand it's okay to be wrong as well as to be right. You go to a university, they don't give you all the answers. They give you the problem, and then you find the answers on your own. That's just about life. So I want everybody to get the book, and when you read the book, don't read about Donna. Read about the experience of being human and how the universe interceded in her life and put things in order. When the universe starts talking to you. Now see, remember, I get these pictures, these masks and stuff here, because these are your ancestors. See, they prayed for us. The reason why we here, they prayed for us on the slave ship, saying it's going to be better for us. But we go to bed every night and don't pray about them. Say thank you to them on that slave ship, making the sacrifice, picking cotton, being disrespected, not being able to walk on the same street with white people, women's children being taken off while they picking cotton, and the master taking him down to the swamp and putting the kids to become alligator bait. See, we got a lot of things to be proud for. So you don't have the choice to be said it's a bad day. Hell, you ain't picking no cotton in the morning time. As long as you ain't picking no cotton, and somebody say, how you doing? I say, I ain't picking no cotton. I'm always happy. Because that was a hard life that they went through. We have to let that go. So really, I really want you to get a book for yourself, but give it as a gift to someone else. Give a gift of inspiration. Read things that are inspiration. Our elders are getting Alzheimer's because they watch CBS but won't watch PBS. Get some information. Stop letting Blackish and everything else take your time, and you never think about nothing new. You ain't had a new thought in 20 years and be one of those wrong. You living back a long time ago. Wow. Think of something new. Go somewhere that you ain't been. Everybody in the world come here to go on vacation. We on vacation. LA is vacation, and some of us ain't never been to the beach. Learn to be quiet by yourself. Some people say, I'm bored. Hell, because you boring. You can't sit by yourself and be happy. You can't even
hate that. You always gotta be around somebody saying nothing.
No, you can't sit nobody. Just be there with yourself and laugh at you. Huh?
Pick up a book and read.
Pick up a book. See, like books. See, everything in creation talks to you. Books don't talk to you, but books will speak to you. So this book, Woke While Stroke, will speak to you. It will speak to you not only about Donna, but the experience of life. Yours won't be the same way, but it'll be another way. The Creator comes out in all kind of ways to talk to you. Yeah. Sometimes that little voice that be in your room, listen to that voice. Yeah. They calling out to you. You may be getting ready to pull out the driveway, and 1 second you stop. That was your spirit. That was your ancestors. See, white boys got you believing in saints and all that, but you can't have an ancestor? Shit, if he could have a saint, you know, I could have an ancestor, you know. And don't let that religious guy or lady come in and say, I don't want to drink. I say, you drink wine? No, I don't drink the wine. I got cabaret communion. Let's have some communion in here then. I can get me some damn, and I get some crackers and I will give me some flesh too.
Right?
But you know, just learn to be real and be honest. It's okay. I got Mr. Jenkins. He 90. My mother's 99. Lives in Las Vegas. Her grandmother, my grandma Winnie, was 114. Wow. Before she passed. Mr. Jenkins, he's 98, but he always tell me these jokes. He said he's real thin, and he tell me these jokes all the time. And he just sit there. I don't know. He just sit there and make up jokes. He was telling me, I told y'all the other day, but he was telling me these women were going to the movies. And there was a guy there who was a flasher, didn't have no clothes on, he just flashed caught in front of the women. The women started screaming, they called the police. The guy didn't run. They sent the police woman came out, guy didn't run until she said, let me see what you got on the coat. He picked up the coat and flashed on her. And then the police woman went back to the women and said, the woman said, you gonna arrest him? And the police woman said, no, a lack of evidence. but like I said, I just like, no, excuse me, I don't mean to offend you, but I just like laughter. Right. And the most powerful things in life can be done so simple. See, life is very simple. We just make it complicated. It ain't that complicated. Just let it go. Call somebody that you, make yourself a treat tomorrow. Call somebody that you ain't talked to in a long time and say, I'm sorry. It's time to let it go. Now, how in the hell you going to have friends? Anybody that have new friends every 2 years, you better watch out for that fool. When you can't have friends for 10 to 15, 20, 30 years, something wrong with you. You can't let good people, you have somebody in your life and they all gone. That's right. You know, something wrong. You got to check yourself and see what that is. Speak to everybody because you don't never know where that blessing coming from. I mean, one time I was over in Lamert Park one time and I'm finished. Then I finished now. Y'all hurt my feelings.
No, your feelings ain't hurt. Come on. Don't finish. You want to hear.
No, because it was like one time I was in Lamert Park and I'm going down the street. This guy had a stack of books and I went to go see when I got the car, it was an herb book written in 1809. But the guy is sleeping in the car. You can see he's sleeping in the car, there's all clothes in there. And I wanted to go buy the book. And he said, I said, I want to buy this book, I'm early. He said, the book ain't for sale. I said, Donna, what you got the book up here for? It ain't for sale. He said, come on, man, give me the price on the book. He said, the doggone book, I done told your ass 3 times, the book ain't for sale. I said, look, brother, one more time, why would you have it? I'm not trying to get a little argument. He said, the book ain't for sale. So he looked at me again. He said, but here, this is your book waiting on you. brought me to a higher level. I knew he needed the money,
Right.
the way he was sleeping. But his love, he said, this is your book. I said, bro, he said, I told you the book wasn't sell. Why are you going to, you're going to pay me for something that was yours? So when you passing somebody, you know, I had a brother last year. He came to my house. He was on Imperial and Crenshaw, and he was begging me. He said, well, I need $5. My girl got $20,000, $10,000, whatever in the bank waiting on me. And she in the motel. I need just to get there. I said, I gave him $2. So 6 months later, I saw the brother, and he was on Hawthorne and El Segundo. He said, my girl got my money in the hotel. Can I get a few bucks? I said, hell, your girl been on for 6 months? Damn. It's time. I said, not only you are a beggar, you a liar. Because you told me the same thing. So I told him, man, you need to change your life. You better than this. You'll probably, with your grandmother and your grandfather, be happy that you became a beggar. And then a few months later, 6 months later, next thing I know, I'm walking in my yard to dig some flower beds, and who's in front of my house in a car? Him. He gets out of the car and said, OG, that's you, that's you, that's you, that's you, OG. He got tears running down his face. I said, do I know you, brother? Because I had the shovel in my hand. I would have hit him. but he said, no, that's OG. He said, remember when I was on Imperial and Crenshaw and begging you for that money? And remember when I was on Hawthorne begging you for some money and you didn't even give me a dime, but you spent 15 minutes talking to me about being a man and being better than this? He said, I never begged again. He said, now I don't sleep on the curb. I got an apartment. He said, this is my car. I got money coming in. He said, only because of that conversation that you had with me. You saw something in me better than I saw in myself.
That's it. Wow.
And so when you talk to brothers and sisters, we at war. This is war. They're war against your mental mind, but your body. I'm going to give everybody a card to get my number or something, because I want everybody, want to get your health together, come and see me. I know how to do this. But you got to be willing to you. And if you ain't willing to get yourself together, then don't call me. I got other things to do. Too many people to see be dealing with your foolishness. Your foolishness. That was very nice.
Thank you for being very nice.
But thank you for, and
That was excellent.
like I said, this is Donna. See, one thing about Donna and why you here is because your hearts are similar. This sister walked in with a smile. I thought sunshine came in my house. I had to put some sunglasses on when she walked in. Cause so, all of you are like this. But bring out the best in you. Be honest with yourself about you and what you need to overcome in yourself. Don't appease other people. Like I said, don't never divorce your sanity to marry someone else's insanity. Be honest that I got things that I need to work on, things that I need to accomplish in my life. I'm a better person than this. I don't have to be mad. I don't have to be sad. I don't have to give up myself to make other people happy. These are the things that you really want to be honest with you and let this madness grow and become to this great being that you all here to become. And this, but I want, before you leave, get this book because it's going to give you some message for you. Take a book or take a two and give it as a gift. Some people you just need to give something to, because you know, for you to even listen to me, most people don't even think in these terms. They don't, you have to learn just, okay, be that, don't be the fish, be the turtle. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm so honored today. I have a great friend who I met through Miss Lena Cole Dennis, and that's Mary Nicholson. Mary is a stroke triumphant, and she's doing a work called Healings in Motion. And Mary, would you mind sharing any part of your story with everybody today? She's just so marvelous.
Let's get the party.
Come on up.
Happy to be here. So happy to be here, number one. I live up north and I just happened to be here and I saw her message about today. And I used to live in this area. I had been in broadcasting for about 30 years and worked as a manager for K-Day and KACE and KTLA and some other stations. And then I owned a radio station in Sacramento. And I guess I was blessed with a brain aneurysm and then what's called an ischemic stroke on the operating table. One was a bleed and the other was a block. There was a blockage stopping oxygen from getting to my brain. And what that did was it allowed me to lose all of my abilities. I could not talk, I couldn't walk, I could not function with all of my cognitive skills. I couldn't make a sentence connect. And there are a lot of things that happened that my family was given little hope that I would survive. And if I survived, I would be a vegetable at best. At that time, the fight was mine. And I said that if I survived, then some things were going to change. And it just so happened that my life had turned where I had left Southern California and was living in the Central Valley, where there are a lot of people who are working in the fields, who are providing the foods that we eat. The delta runs through the Central Valley and the water comes south. But the people are treated like shit. They have terrible medical care. They are taken for granted. And it seemed as if God put me in an environment in order to see what was going on, because my background was in communications. And I, by nature, came from the Jordan Downs, wanted to be in communications to disseminate positive information from whence I came, and put in the Central Valley to see what was going on. And it made me have a fight to survive and to work with the medical community to make it better. And that's what I did. I started an agency called Healings in Motion. And I started it from where I was, where I could not stand up, I couldn't make a sentence. But what I realized was starting to help other people from whatever capacity I was in was healing for me. And so I started working, and what I did have the ability to do was to invite people from Stanford or UCSF or UC Davis to come and bring in their resources, because the doctors where I was were used to not being challenged, not having to respond to questions, and they had a country club lifestyle. But I really wanted them to be challenged. And so when you ask, people do come. And one of the gifts that I always had was when I went to hear somebody speak. If they wrote their name on the board, or if they gave me a card and invited me to call, I would always call. And I do challenge you, when you get the card today, to call. Always. It's put there for a reason. And it was so wonderful that the International Stroke Conference was in Los Angeles. And Lena and I have been friends for a very long time.
That's the 70s.
Yeah, and when I was at KACE, and I then was doing a reception at the hotel downtown. What hotel was that? One of the nice hotels downtown, and I was bringing all of the stroke coordinators in California together to meet and interact.
Century City.
So it was the Bonaventure downtown, where the International Stroke Conference was, because connecting people and meeting one another strengthens our power. And I wanted people to meet. And now in the Central Valley, all of the hospitals are certified stroke centers, meaning that all of the hospitals have trained teams of people who have gone through a rigorous training to be better at handling stroke. And as a primary stroke center, they have to have a relationship with a comprehensive stroke center. The comprehensive stroke centers are the training centers like UCSF or Stanford or even UCLA. And so they go through a rigorous training to make sure that people who get there soon enough are treated in the best way that they can for better results with stroke. The real issue though is making sure that people recognize the symptoms, get to the hospital within a designated time, so that if you are there within a short window of time, within 3 to 5 hours, you are eligible for a blood clot busting agent called TPA, tissue plasminogen activator, to reverse your stroke symptoms. If you have the blockage, the tissue plasminogen activator can be applied to those people who have the blood clot busting, the blood clot stopping the oxygen from getting to your brain. It cannot help you if you have a bleed, but if you have a blockage, those symptoms can be reversed. And of course, if you have a blockage on your right side, it hinders what's going on your left side, where your speech and a lot of your cognitive skills are, your executive functioning, just to be able to write notes and to plan and all of that is affected on your left side. And so what I started doing was learning as much as I could about my brain. And it wasn't about me, it was because I didn't want what happened to me to happen to my family and my friends and my community. The unfortunate thing is that I do all of these educational programs and bring in experts and things like that all the time. The people who come are not necessarily my family and friends. They're people in the community who are crying for help and answers, which is as important as anything else. And so for me to be here to support Donna, I found a friend in her and a triumphant colleague, and for her to write a book and to tell her story, we've shared notes back and forth, but I am totally here to support you. I'm proud of you, and I got my book right away. It was sent to my house. I'm here because my daughter just became a new mom, and I'm grandma. I'm here to deal with that.
Her son's baby?
No, this is her second.
Yeah, that's why she has a boy.
Yeah, but she's raised 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I'm here, and I love
so much for sharing with us. How many people have been affected by having a family member or anybody who's been affected by a stroke? I know Lena's brother right now is, working with him.
Yes, but he was a butcher. He's hardworking. He won 3 Purple Stars in the Vietnam War. He fought in one of the battles of Hamburger Hill that only maybe 10 to 20 people lived. And when he came home, he threw away all his stuff. I didn't know that until last week. He threw away all his awards. Well, it's just the way that the whole thing is like, and then you give you that, they didn't do things right for our Vietnam vets, the black vets. It was just not done right. He has worked ever since the 10th grade. He started as a butcher. He became a butcher. And he worked, and then he joined the service when he got out of school. And my 3 brothers were going in on the buddy plan. They never got to see one another. Almost at one time, it was just one day, I had 3 brothers in Vietnam at the same time. The United States people told us, don't worry, by the time the other one gets out and this one gets in, you'll have a, it's just crazy. But this brother has always cared, but he stopped taking his meds. He had high blood pressure. He had a stroke in 2008 or 9 or something like that. So now he just had an issue where he fell, and he ended up just had been sitting, and so one leg, something happened, and it's just not the right, you just cannot find the way it's supposed to be done. You're supposed to be a vet, you're supposed to be able to get this and stuff, but then you have different family members. My sister went and bought him food, and I stood there at the refrigerator reading. I said, "OB, this chicken has 570 sodium. OB, did you ask her for hot dogs? Hot dogs? This has 300 and I started naming it, and I wasn't thinking he's gonna do anything. You know, I was like, what the hell? And he said, what did that have? And I had made him a sandwich already before I read it. And he said, take it back. And he said, make me a peanut butter sandwich. But that was the beginning. He knew to watch his stuff. I think he was about ready to die. I mean, because he knew. And now it's like he's just eating. This is all since May 22nd. So he knew. And I see a whole nother, you know, I done cussed him out several times this March 22nd. You know, because I forget that. But anyway, whatever. That's enough for me.
But when you're saying
So
about with that food, I'm telling you, I have 8 clients that are all health inspectors, all vegetarian. They said, if you see what we see, you wouldn't eat that stuff either. They said, they won't eat it. They won't eat it. Because when you say 100% beef hot dog, what part of the, what are you getting? What's 100% of what? The liver, the kidney, the spleen? What is 100%? It comes from an animal. What part of the animal? Now, what they say is that if the animal makes it up to ramp, then it can be FDI, inspected. It was inspected. If it shakes too much, then McDonald's or Burger King are coming by it. In 99-cent burger plate. But if it can make it up, and if they see a tumor, they cut the tumor off. It still goes through. And this is what we're eating here. We have to watch that meat content. I'm gonna tell you another thing too that I see a lot. We're saying high blood pressure, cholesterol, which contributes to stroke. First of all, you have to stay in tune with you. See, your nurse, the doctor send you to you go to the doctor, the nurse do a chart, and then he come look at your chart and say, oh, your blood pressure high. You're gonna get on some medication you're gonna have to have the rest of your life. He don't ask you scared of this damn white coat I got on. You're in a bad relationship, or your gang kids driving you crazy. You hate your boss at work, He don't ask you another thing that could be making my blood pressure high. Do I have a toothache? So some things you just have to take in consideration on your own. Now another thing to bring, most diseases come out of inflammation. Inflammation from blood pressure, whatever. Learn to take your shoes off and walk on grass. Walk on the park. Yes. Ground yourself to the earth.
It's called earthing.
Earthing. The only thing that human beings are the only species on this planet that don't touch the earth. We wear shoes.
I write about it in my book.
Oh.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, so just learn to walk. Another thing too, at nighttime, when you go to sleep, drink your water, which is very important to drink. But at nighttime, always drink at least a glass. Because when you drink water, you stand up and you drink water, the water goes down to your lower extremities. When you drink water at nighttime, you're laying flat. So your organs are getting filled too, which is what you need. So just don't drink water just you're walking around, it'll go to the bottom of your body. But if you drink it at nighttime, you're going to bed and you're laying horizontal, which is going to help the water with your system. So those kind of things, but really take your health in your own hand. So I think that, see, you know the difference between God and a doctor? God know he ain't no doctor. But the doctor don't know he ain't God. You see? Yeah. So don't count on him that much now. He's still learning on you. Learn to start little things. And another thing, small things. Get you a small plate of food. Stop having these big old plates. Get a little plate. Your body don't take that much food to eat.
You know it.
Just eat a little bit of something. Make sure you don't overcook your stuff. It should be crunchy. It can be cooked, but it doesn't have to be over. Never eat canned nothing. Nothing out of a can. Really stay away from frozen. Cook you some food. And talk to your food. And you pray over your food, pray over your water too. Japan showed that they did an experiment when people called water nasty and everything. And they crystallized it, it all was deformed. When they said, water, you're beautiful, it came out perfect. Learn just a little simple thing. Pray over your food. And just eat little portions, and you're okay.
Small plates.
Yes, Mary.
one of the things that my dad had a stroke, and at the time he had a stroke, my family didn't understand what a stroke was, as well as my whole family pretty much thought it was almost like this voodoo spirit that had come upon him and he had a twisted mouth or something happened. Yeah, well, what I'm saying is we never questioned it because we just thought it was something that was a spiritual disconnection or something. And so it wasn't until later that we started to really understand that stroke was with the brain. It had to do with the brain. And there were so many different negative connotations attached to stroke that nobody would talk about it. And it was something that they only thought that the poor or minorities had a stroke, and so it wasn't something that was really dealt with. And in relationship to a stroke being pretty much the same thing as a heart attack, it's a brain attack versus a heart attack, a blockage. And so this whole thing about educating the community, it had to get out of hand. Right now, 7.2 million people are living after they've had a stroke. They're either dealing with it, recovering from it, or a stroke survivor. That is, if you put all of Los Angeles and Chicago together, that's how many people have had a stroke who are living in the United States right now. And when you look at the additional 200,000 people who die from stroke every year, it's mind-boggling. It's huge.
Yeah, and no, you're absolutely right. And I tell people too, is check yourself out. Get yourself tested. You know, and then you don't have to use the way they want to do, give you a pill. You come and see me, do something else. But at least you know it's going to sit. See, but our religion again gets in the way. They said, have faith, Lord going to see you through this. Don't, you know, come on. You don't live in Bethlehem or Jerusalem, okay, 2,000 years ago. Check yourself, as I was saying, have faith, but tie your camel. Ooh. Have faith, it ain't going to run, but if you tie it up, it won't run. Go get yourself checked out. Have a blood pressure machine, which I got over there. Check your stuff out. See what the strokes are. Another thing in your home that I want everybody to get some in their home, or whatever, and make sure you get some of your parents' house too. Some cayenne pepper. Because if you ever have a stroke, heart disease, take a spoon of the cayenne pepper and put it in their tongue. Call the paramedics. But that cayenne pepper is very healing and it'll hold it all. It'll get it beat, 'cause you know how that's like a beat. But just get a little cayenne pepper. But every once in a while, just check yourself out. Get your machine in what they call it, $40, $35. See what your blood pressure is. See what it is. And then see what you're going through in your life while you take your blood pressure.
Right.
Why am I going through this? I said I ain't going to do this no more. But I'm doing it all over again.
Because so take the cayenne pepper and put it in water?
No, put it on your tongue.
Put it on your tongue.
Yeah, just put it in your tongue. Because cayenne pepper is very hot. But in any herb or any food you should just have cayenne pepper because it helps clean your arteries too. Right. You know, but cayenne pepper is something that you should have.
Consider that the king of herbs.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Cayenne. But I always have it over your parents' house. Have some in your car. Because you might be in a situation where you might be the only one with some cayenne pepper.
Somebody's having
Having
a heart attack.
a heart attack. Go and get your car, get in that glove, and get that, you know, and get that cayenne pepper.
Got that kick.
I use it in my tea.
It's good. Sometimes you take, you know, really with weight, apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper mixed together, you know, and just put it together, drink a glass every day. You want to keep your arteries clean because with the blood pressure, with the stroke, you want to keep the arteries clean. We eat too much meat. You got to cut down on that meat. See, the dairy industry and the meat industry is the one that came in. Well, we are food. They're not a food. Fruits, vegetables, and grains are foods. Meat, you know, you go down south, they said a Sunday dinner was with meat. Down south, they ate vegetables all week long, and on Sunday they cut a chicken, the gospel bird. You see, but and so heart disease Stroke was really called rich people's disease because they ate a lot of meat, butter, and everything else. Cut down on that as much as possible. And then it just sustains your life. You know, stop going to a parking lot and I always want to park right next to the building. Yeah, walk a little. Yeah, you can park right next to the building, spend $20 worth of gas trying to be the first one out the car. Just park and walk. It's real. It's an exercise. Exercise any kind of way. And exercise don't necessarily mean go to 24 fitness, clean up your house. That'll put you in some exercise.
That's a thought. Is somebody talking? Okay. Can I just say something? Okay. Do you know there are so many people in our circle of community and LA community and people that are doing things? In 1 year, a lady named Pruitt, Robin Pruitt. She's with, you know Rob? Yes. Robin, we had a big thing. She's with the New Frontier Club. She was the president or something. She had just gotten her, I'll say PhD, but whatever she got, something, a degree. And Robin, I saw her at this dinner. Robin never acts weird, never. She's a very calming person. She was snipping and snapping. And I said, something's wrong with Robin. Now if I snip and snap at you, you just know that that's what's going on. Not her. And then she said something strange. So when I watched her, but I didn't detect anything. And I think it was after Mary's discussion. I don't know for sure, because it's been about 3 years now since Robin's been, About 3 years. So I called Bobby. I said, something's wrong with Robin. And other people were saying, Robin had a stroke. And then what happens when they have a stroke, their people come over. They never see their other people again. They don't see us. Chris Higbee, he wrote a book, Admired Men. Chris had a stroke. He worked for Kaiser. Chris went to all the meetings. Chris ate healthy. Well, he had salads. But he was trying to do different things. A guy named Toon, he had a stroke. Anybody ever know Toon? He used to be a gang member. And he came by Drew Medical School, and some of his friends were going to that school. And he had been in jail, and he came out. And then he finally went back to the school to talk to somebody. He said, look, if you just let me try, because his friends would say, you can get in here. And I don't know what part of the school at the time, but he did. But he stopped smoking, drinking, whatever. He does all kind of great. He has a stroke.
It's called a cryptogenic stroke.
That he
You have a stroke and there's no visible reason why. You can be healthy, playing tennis every day, not have any weight problems, no blood pressure issues. You're 30 years old, have a young person having a stroke, because stroke had always been perceived as an older person's illness. So now they've given it a name. It's cryptogenic stroke, and they are labeling it as a stroke with unknown factors. And it's happening more often to people at a younger age now.
Okay, now when they have a stroke or something, shouldn't they be around, or you try to, the people that you know, or because these people are taking them completely out of any setting, but I guess that's all they can do to help them say that, I don't know. I got a thought here.
They disassociated them from other people.
Yes, you can't call them. They don't talk. The Chris people don't want him on Facebook. Facebook was his life. That's the only way he could connect. Just saying something to people. Even if it come out bad, it could come out like F you. So what? He's living. Okay, I'm getting excited because maybe I'll have a stroke.
Oh, don't put that in the universe.
Oh, it's not in the universe, but I'm taking care of that boy. I am. I had to leave. I got up this morning to go and take care of what is he? My brother, who the other people were supposed to do it. And my mama didn't say thank you when I left. She acted like that's what our damn ass supposed to do.
And that was wrong. That was wrong.
So I'm mad.
But
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You would.
Excuse me, anybody back there. It wasn't Lena talking. It was
But just like I said, what I see now, women are number one with lupus now. Lupus are hitting real hard. And it's really three ways. Doctors are, because the autoimmune system is one thing you got to watch out for too. So you got to be very careful what you put in your body. I'm telling you. But it's really becoming more prevalent. Like you say, strokes. I have a friend that he's a mortician over at Winston Mortuary. And he said, I said, what age they coming in now? He said they come on at all ages. It used to be old people come into mortuary. He said, no. It's everybody now. So just learn, like I said before, learn more about, read up on stuff too. We don't read up on enough stuff. Stroke is hitting us real hard.
I have something to share. I come from a family, like my sister, she had a brain tumor. They told her that she'd have 9 months to live on paper. She would expire, which their word. She'll expire in 9 months. She didn't pass in 9 months. She had many strokes in the past before. I'm saying all that to say she survived all of those things, but she died from depression.
Wow.
Okay. And my mother was the same way. They were both depressed and addicts. Okay. So when you see that someone kind of, doing suicide on your eyes, you're watching them do it. You're a child, they're older. However you get older, she was 15 years older than me, and I always took care of her. So when they said she had a tumor, I gave up my place job, and I would, of course, be the caretaker for her. But she made it through that, and to see her make it through that and actually kill herself, that's why I speak on women and the stress and the depression, the emotional, and everything we have to do, because I broke the cycle. That's why so that's why I have to try to learn that balance to calm down, because you grow up sometimes saying you don't want to be like this.
Yeah.
So you have to learn from your experience, and I know some people are innocent victims. My stepmother was health nut. She came down with MS. So I know it's opposites, but I've seen both. I've seen them, kill themselves with their lifestyle choices and things that they put into their body. My mom had a blood clot from her leg to her lung. She died in a week. Why? She didn't exercise. She smoked cigarettes every day. She wasn't healthy. Just as he's speaking of the lifestyle things, things that she's true.
Lifestyle is really changing. I really want us, because our children are pretty much grown and our grandchildren. Millenniums have the highest level of suicide.
Right.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that they don't have friendship like we have friendship.
Yeah.
We call people and say, hello, how you doing? If they don't get a like on their Facebook, they think that's stuff serious. And then they commit suicide behind it. So really, you gotta start taking charge of your children, your grandchildren. Tell my granddaughter, I got 3 of them. My son, good father, he would not let them play on their phones when they're in the car together. Let's talk. And we don't know really, we have to take those events. Tell your kids if they got their children, you cannot be on the phone at a certain time. People's relationships are falling apart because somebody got to be on the phone every minute. It's endorphins that fall in the brain that causes you to become addicted. You become addicted like heroin, anything else to the phone. Learn to take that off, but really that suicide rate with the young ones, they're having issues that we never had before.
I know.
Mental
health is just. I work in that field. Mental health is.
Yeah, I was just gonna refer back to what you mentioned earlier, how you spent 15 minutes talking to the homeless individual. I do a lot of youth mentoring, and that's so key, because many times I hear from adults, so you know how kids are, or how young people are. And it's like, no, if we don't invest the time, many of them are not being raised. Many of them don't have the positive role models. So I think just kind of staying connected.
Teaching your children how to be human, because they're learning to be more robotic than they are human. I had to go to pay a bill. It was $40.25. I tell the young lady, I give you 20, put the rest on my credit card. She had to go get a calculator.
Stop.
Really, it's that bad. So we really got to start taking, teaching them to be human, because the society trying to make them robotic.
Right.
Very
we
robotic.
Lead by example.
That's right.
So many people say, well, just do as I say. Well, no, you have to exemplify.
Before we dismiss, I would like my brother just to tell you symbolism of, he designed my cover, and I'd like him to just explain to you so that you get an idea of what it meant.
This is a light bulb. So some people see it and some people don't. So I'm just telling you, it's a light bulb. And when I looked up stroke, the color for stroke awareness is red. So I actually picked red to go with this. And the other side is yellow because it's showing that technically the light was already on, but she was awoke by a stroke, which is why this side of the brain turned red. So it's basically a light bulb. Half of it is, the brain is representing the actual shape of the light bulb where the glass would normally be, and this is representing her brain coming alive in a different way, a different modality because of the stroke.
Michael, let me